So I'm going to test the ILS at Gatwick Airport that I've created. I'm just zooming in to the Star Airport Gatwick. You can see the stands that I've already put down. So I'm progressing quite well. Managed to split the stands. And a good airport to fly from is this tiny little bush, almost like a bush strip, Jackwell's Farm, because it gives you a reasonable route for the ILS 26 left. Is a bit convoluted, but I found it to be reasonably good route, so I'm gonna change it to IFR, low altitude, and ILS 26 left at Gatwick. So it just goes around a little bit. So it's a really short runway, grass runway, and I'm going to set full flaps in a TBM. So that's going to get me around to the ILS around about 10 kilometers out. I've set the ILS in the SDK to about 10,000 meters. I've also changed the magnetic deviation to 0. The runway should be 258 degrees, but my runway perfect alignment is 257.57 degrees. So at the moment I've left the ILS at 258 degrees. The beam angle is set at 5 degrees. I'm not quite sure what that means, but that may be a factor. I may need to make the angle smaller for the beam angle. Hopefully this is going to be an improved ILS approach, because the last time I did it, it was slightly off to the left. Still managed to direct me to the runway, but just to the left side. So I'm just trying to improve. So we're at Jackwell's Farm. I'm going to set the altitude to about 3,000 feet. And turn the nav on, vertical speed. And full flaps, because this is a short takeoff. I just about make it. So I have recorded this before, and now I'm voicing over. Just about make it. I'm gonna turn right and set it to autopilot to follow the flight plan as quick as I can. The sooner I get this ILS sorted out 100%, the sooner I can carry on creating the airport. Need to set the yaw damper on. So the actual airport that I've created is a properly edited overlay of EGKK, and I've deleted most things, but I have not deleted ILS in the SDK. Obviously I deleted the runway and created my own, deleted the apron and the taxiway lights, pretty much everything apart from the departures, approaches and ILS. So they should all show up on the map, but at the moment I've only put in the primary ILS 26 left. So even though in this current version you'll get 08 right ILS, it more than likely won't work at all. So 26 left is what I'm concentrating on at the moment. And I'm going to look at make sure the assistance is set to show. I never normally use this, but the taxi ribbon, a lot of people like using the ATC, built-in ATC, so I'm going to double check that. So at the moment the only some of the stands are, this is a problem I get sometimes, the engine will stop when I come off the menu, so I just need to restart the engine. So I think the trick of getting ATC to work properly with a stand number upon landing, you have to link the taxiway parking areas to the taxiways. I've done a few, but when I land and come off the runway, it more than likely will not pick the ones that I've actually connected. I think I've connected about 3 or 4, and when you connect a taxiway to a parking area, it creates a long line, yellow line, which is not really realistic. But I've done a few, and I think there's a way I can just remove the long yellow line and just keep the yellow centre line onto the actual stand area. So I've done one on 15 where I've connected the taxiway on stand 15 to the centre line with a taxiway point, and I've removed the yellow line so it's more realistic. So at the moment I think I've cracked it. I understand how to get the ATC working. So I'm going pretty fast. I need to slow it down before the approach. As I say, I've set the ILS to 10,000 metres, which is quite far out. So you should capture the ILS fairly quickly. Version that I'm developing at the moment is a proper edited airport, whereas my popular version that I've uploaded to Flightsim.to is basically just it's using the default runways, taxiways, aprons, taxiway lights and parking areas, and I've just basically enhanced all the piers terminal buildings, and I put down some models for the parking. All the stand plates are correct, but when you go into the map, because it's using the default airport, all these stand numbers are wrong. They're like really old stand number configuration. So I've been leaving it because I know it's a huge job. I've been concentrating on modelling the piers and everything else, but now the next step is to create a fully edited EGKK. That means I can customise everything, get the jetways moved properly and located, because at the moment they're not really placed very well and they stick out the back, and I can adjust all these stands correctly. I can put painted lines down hatched areas and boundaries. There's just so many more things I can do add to the airport. So obviously I'm not going to replace the Ultra version at the moment because I haven't got all the stands configured, and I'm not sure how long it's going to take, but eventually when I do get everything configured properly with the ATC working, everything connected up, then I can replace the Ultra version with this version, which is, I'm just going to call it Star Ultra or something like that. Customised jetways are another thing. I'm not going to do that at the moment, but trying to find tutorials is I can't find any real tutorials for FS 2020. I think I saw one tutorial. I'm sure I could do it. But the priority at the moment is to get all the taxiways working, the ATC working, all the parking areas. When I've reached that point, then I can start actually enhancing everything, all the painted lines, and continue eventually on improving the modelling, because there's still lots and lots of improvements to make. So I'm getting a bit closer to the approach for 26 left. So as you can see, I've already enabled the approach on the navigation well before turning into the approach, because as soon as I turn in, you should get the diamond coming up for at least the glide scope. So as soon as I clicked approach, you had this GP come up, glide path. And when it captures the glide path, it'll go green and hopefully guide me straight in. There's the left turn to the next waypoint, and I can see that G has come up on this dial with a diamond, so that means I'm lower than I should be because the diamond is above. And when I get a bit closer, hopefully the localizer will show up, but this turn green. diamond is coming down, so I'm getting close to the glide scope. I'm still a bit too low. So I'm now above the glide scope, so it should kick in any minute. I don't know, I've never used this guide before. There we go, it's just kicked in a little bit late, and I can see there the localizer. It doesn't seem to be, I'm not sure if this normally it automatically will line up with the course, and this course is not set and it's not correct. It should be about 258, so I think it's 26 something, so that's a little bit weird, and I can see that I'm a little bit to the left.
Landing gear.
So I don't know if it's a setting that I need to change on the ILS in the SDK, maybe the beam angle, maybe the runway orientation. I need to change it to the actual orientation of the runway that I've made, which is 257, so it's just a half a degree difference in what the runway should be on the Navigraph plates. The runway should be 258, but my runway is 257.57 degrees. Whether that makes a difference, I don't know. It seems to be trying to line up now with the localizer. This parallel line is now coming in the centre of the green, so it looks like it's lined up much better. I think I should have set the course to the correct alignment, 258 degrees. It seems a little bit sloppy on the localizer. I mean, it could be the way I've aligned it in the SDK, the localizer. I've tried to centre it exactly, but so it's looking better than before. I think a few days ago I was off to the left quite a bit, so that's pretty good at the moment. I would almost certainly disable the autopilot by now. Seems to be drifting a little bit to the left. It's a little bit to the left, but it'd be off the autopilot by now. So that's around about the position I was in the other day, but the actual so I'm going to land it. At the moment I've only created one exit, Echo, and obviously at the end Juliet. At the end, at the very far end, I'm going to taxi down to the very far end and see if I can get an allocated gate and see if it gives me the ribbons, but the chances of getting a working gate at the moment are very, very slim, because I've only connected, as I said before, there's Echo on the right hand side. I've only connected a few stands up to the taxiways, so the chances of getting a proper taxiway guide is very small. runway. I'm trying to get... I remember before you could change the settings of the runway to include an outside area, but I can't seem to find that, so I'm going to have to lay down a different material on the sides of the runway in this area. At the moment it's just the runway. That's another exit that I need to do. So when I come off the runway at Juliet, this is connected. It should ask me to contact ground as soon as I come off of it. ATC should change. Around about here. There we go. It's just asked me to contact ground. So there we go. Request taxi to gate. It's asked me to go to 13 left, which I know I haven't connected, so you're not going to get any ribbon at the moment. It's just giving me the gate. So these edge lighting has come out okay. I can't seem to manually add these very well. I've tried the model that is available on the SDK taxiway lighting, but they don't seem to illuminate. So I'm going to jump out into drone view, check out a few things that I've done. There's a bit of edge lighting. You have to be careful with the edge lighting, because sometimes it, even though you disable it in the areas you want, it will still go across this area. But okay, it's good enough. You see 08 left, the runway. I've disabled the runway lights and I've just put a string of taxiway lights, and I've named it Taxiway 08. Whether that works or not, I don't know. But basically that runway, secondary runway, is going to be disabled. I know a lot of people complaining that it's illuminated in the default Gatwick. So I've created some taxiway signs. They still look way smaller than when I added them in the SDK. So I need to make these maximum size by the look of it. They're far too small. I think they're size 3. I think I need to make them size 5. I think they are size 5 actually. So if they're size 5, they're way too small. So you need like a telescope to see them. I mean, the only other way is to make my own taxiway signs. If this is the biggest that they are, then that's not really good enough for me. I'm gonna probably make my own models. So this little problem area, I know what that is. That's I need to change a setting in the taxiway path. So this is connected. It connected taxi from the taxiway point to the parking area, so this should work. This is also connected from the taxiway to the parking area, but I don't want this yellow line. I think I can remove that. So I'm gonna give it a test for the ATC now. I've just come back, spawned on to stand 3. If I contact ATC, hopefully it's going to give me directions to the departure point, because this is a connected stand. contact ground, ask for a departure from the west, which would be 26 left. There we go, it's given me Whiskey Victor, Mike 3, Mike 1, Mike. Well, I was hoping it would give me Mike 3, hold short.
System test. Okay.
But ATC is working. So when you name the taxiways, what I was getting before was Whiskey Victor, and the reason I was getting that is because I was naming all the little segments in the curve. See, there's no this curve here, there's no need to give it a name. As long as this is named Whiskey and this is named Victor, these areas here don't need to be named in the SDK. So I didn't realise that. So I took off the letter names, and it knows to go where you want to go. So from Victor onto Mike, and this is a hold short. I've created some taxiway signs, but again they are ridiculously small. Hold short Mike 1, hold short Mike 3. I think they're the right way round. So that's it for the moment. It's gradually coming together. I think I'm just going to try stand 15, which is connected to the taxiway, but I removed the yellow marking because that's not as it is. So just spawned on stand 15. This is the one that's created Taxiway Parking. Obviously I've created some others from the previous version. All the planes will spawn in that area, so there won't be the exact stop points that I created. So this one I have connected the taxiway to the parking area, but I've removed the yellow line because this is how it should look. So hopefully this is going to work with ATC. I've connected it with a taxiway path, but it's not named. Tune to ground, ask for a departure. There we go, perfect. Kilo November Juliet Mike 1. So that is working. So basically I just got to connect all the stands. I'm glad I haven't done too many. And there's a ribbon. So the taxiway ribbon is working. So just going along Kilo, a left turn, November. Another left turn onto Juliet, a right turn onto Mike, then hold short Mike 1. So these are other Alpha hold areas. This is out. I think this is Alpha hold short. That's a popular one. Bravo hold short. You might get Bravo if you're coming from this part of the airport. It just depends. With ATC. So all these areas need to be added to, gradually getting through, connecting. That's it.